So it's
You
great
like?
to meet you. I love your story. I love what's going on, and to begin our journey into the world you live in and how you got here. I want to know. 4 years ago, we were all trying to figure out how long this pandemic was going to last, the residuals, all of that. How did you make it through that time period? And how did it change you?
I kept researching. To me, frankly, I don't mean to be condescending, was another day. It
Yeah.
was just another day. I had great success with family and friends during the pandemic. None of us were sick. None of us.
Wow.
And yeah, we were all under quarantine, but I just kept at it. So I know what I'm doing works. I know what I'm doing is of great merit to society. So to answer the question, I kept working. It was another opportunity for me to demonstrate my work.
That was the one thing I thought about when all this happened. Like, what am I going to do? And one of the things that I do is I do a lot of interviews for jazz radio. At that point, I do a lot of different interviews now, but I really ramped it up. I felt like that was the best thing to do.
Yeah,
It's,
you're smart. I think the entire world went online, and
yeah,
everybody's working from home now.
yeah.
A lot of people don't want to go back to an office.
I know. I know. I still can't believe how many places have wanted signs and no one's out working.
I don't get it. Do you
It's weird.
understand that?
I don't. It's a phenomenon that is beyond me.
Where do they get their income?
I
Where's the
know.
money coming from?
I mean, for a little bit there, I thought it might have been government assistance, but that runs out. I mean, it's done. Like, where are they
I
at?
I know I can't for the life of me. I can't figure this out.
Like, it was kind of like the toilet paper thing. Like, I had to finally get to the point where I was like, what is this? And it was one person did it, and a whole line of sheep followed him in the store. It's
It
weird.
was it was also unnecessary.
It totally unnecessary. There was no reason for it. So, but at the end of the day, I would love to get everybody to understand exactly what you do for a living here in 2024. I'm going to put you in front of a bunch of third graders. It's career day. One of the kids curiously says, "Hey, what do you do for a living?" How do you answer that child?
I research energy.
Okay.
It's the energy of the sun, the energy of the stars. This is my work. And I believe there's great technology to come forth from this type of physics, this scalar physics. It's not electricity. So I research the energy of the stars.
So, how would you explain to me exactly what you do?
Well, I do it through instrumentation. I'm in my laboratory for a reason to show you the instruments. I've developed instruments, and they're not my sole doing. There's been so many researchers and engineers involved that are able to capture that energy from the stars. We're able to capture, harness the energy of the stars. And with that, the functions that you can perform with these instruments far exceed the ability of electricity. The functionality of scalar energy instruments far exceeds that of any electrical instrument.
So, what did you want to be in the third grade? What was your dream to grow up and become?
Well, I knew I was different. I knew I wanted to do something different, but I was very realistic. I said, I have to get an education. I have to be normal to get a job. I have to work. I have to get an education. So I had this as a goal to invent long, long time ago, but it took me years to catch up to that goal. Now, I'm finally there in my 60s where I can invent, where I can discover, and do that, concentrate on that exclusively. So as a third grader, I simply said, well, I'd like to invent, but again, I was very pragmatic. I said, I'm going to stay in school,
Yeah.
and I need to get a job.
Yeah. So, take me back to where you were born and raised and how you evolved to this point. How did this vocation, passion become a reality for you? How did we evolve to this timeline?
I'm a native New Yorker. I had two great Catholic parents, and they instilled in me values, if you will, morality, a sense of hard work, etc. And that carries through. And that was my foundation. I had what I would consider a very happy, idyllic childhood, and allowing me to grow, allowing me to flourish. And later on in life, I look back at that and I said, I was just so blessed to have that foundation. Well, then I moved on into college and I realized I had to really knuckle down. And and study this science, scalar science. And I stayed in school, had collegiate career that spanned probably 15 years. And at the end of that, I said, okay, I have the understanding, I have this foundation. Now I have to pursue private research. Let's say within my mid 30s, I've started on private research, trying to discover one aspect of scalar energy at a time. I've been very successful, but that's a 30-year journey focusing on one branch of physics and making discoveries. Oh, it's very painstaking, quite candid. It's not easy to do this.
So I think your camera turned off.
Oh,
Yeah, no, I would imagine what you're doing. Absolutely. Totally. So let me ask you this. Who has been kind of the fuel, the hero, the inspiration for you in your life?
it's always been Tesla. Nikola Tesla was always my man that inspired me. Such a great inventor. And few people realize the impact that he's had on society. It's just profound. So it was Tesla as a youngster. And then I started working with a group of inventors, the Hieronymus family, they're American inventors. And with that, I learned so much about scalar energy. They were working with scalar energy instruments. So those two, if you will, camps, the Tesla camp and the Hieronymus camp, very specific to this branch of physics. Both Tesla and Dr. Hieronymus were scalar light physicists who really paved the way for the world. They were the pioneers, the initial pioneers.
So if you can meet anybody alive on the planet right now that you find fascinating and spend some time with them, who would it be?
It would be probably Tesla,
Yeah.
Nikola Tesla. It would probably be Nikola Tesla because I don't know anybody who has his track record of invention, his mental acuity, his etc., his ability to understand nature. He copied nature. That's why he's so successful. Today, we're not trying to copy nature. We're trying to overrule nature. You're not going to win. Tesla was successful because he copied nature.
What's your take on Musk with what he's doing, his overall vision? Are you convinced?
Um, I've looked at him, and yes, he is a visionary, but I don't agree with him. Real quickly, to colonize Mars is not within our doing right now. It's just too expensive. We just don't have the infrastructure. I give him credit for electric cars. That's a plus, but that has to be perfected. And some of his viewpoints on life don't agree. Transhumanism don't agree whatsoever. So
Yeah.
I can't say I'm a fan.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree with everything you said. So, what is your motivation? I mean, it's been a long motivation for you to get to the point where you're at right now, but what gets you up every day out of bed? What gets you to not only be innovative, but to also evolve as a human being? What is that for you?
It, it's to help people. I understand that this technology, scalar technology, will change the world. It's free energy from the sun and the stars. I want to demonstrate to your audience what I mean. Imagine a power plant that captures the energy of the stars, a power plant that you don't have to create the energy. Well, that's what I have. This is a scalar energy power plant. I don't create the energy, I capture it. And the energy is so strong to demonstrate it can illuminate objects in my hand.
Wow.
So in the future, I'd like to use this energy to illuminate the world. If I can magnify that signal millionfold, then I can illuminate, light up the city with free energy from the stars.
This is so encouraging to me, and I contrast that with something that I've been reading lately about the temperatures that are on the rise and how there's a lot of people that are getting concerned about this, what we've done to the environment. But when I see what you're doing and see these minds that are harnessing what we have, it's so encouraging to me because I don't understand why there aren't more people do. Yeah, I do actually know why. It's capitalism. It's
Yeah.
money, it's petroleum, it's things that aren't going to make big people money. But
Yeah,
at the end of the day, as a human being on this planet, when we see things that are catastrophically happening to our atmosphere and environment, how can we not band together as human beings and do what you just did right there?
that's a great point. And this is what Tesla tried to do. He tried to introduce scalar energy, radiant energy, free energy over 100 years ago. But the powers that be did not want that. You see, scalar energy is a new paradigm. It's a new way of living. It's a new technology. And this new technology will make obsolete the existing technology. Well, that's where the friction begins. And those with money and power do not want free.
What was the first innovation that you specifically all on your own came up with that you thought, wow, this works. This just validates everything that I've wanted to do with my life.
When I started working with this group of researchers, the Hieronymus family, I started working on myself. I always experiment on myself, working myself. And in so doing, I was able to clear my sinuses. I was able to, if you will, eradicate germs, microbes for myself. I felt that. And, and I said, well, this is simple. I do this with light, with energy. I mean, this is so simple. You don't need chemicals, surgery. This is not a chiropractic maneuver. This is, you don't have to change your diet, your sleep pattern. You can do this with energy. And I really resonated. I said to myself, this is fantastic. This is the new way that we can do this.
So, of all of these things that you've done and evolved to in your life, whether it's one specific thing or an overarching idea, what are you the proudest of?
Helping people, this type of technology. This technology is unique because when I work with people through their photograph. It's an image of a force field. If I hold up my photograph has my energy field attached to it. That's my energy field. And I access a person's energy field. I never work with people in the flesh. I work with photographs that represent their force field, their scalar light signature. So I essentially can work with one person, 50 people, or 5 million people because we work through a photographic force field. Now, to, to expand upon that, the day is coming that I'll be able to work with 50 million people through a photograph. So this is the new branch of physics that Tesla and Hieronymus envisioned, in which we're working with energy only. We don't worry about physical matter. Scalar energy transcends time and space. This is the new way of doing things.
That's fascinating. I remember reading a book years ago on ESP and about how there's all these coincidences, but they broke it down to how we are energy. Our spinal column has as much power as like a lightning bolt, and how we can send things up and things get intercepted. You know, it's kind of that idea. And the other thing too that I was thinking here in Kansas City, when I travel across Kansas, as much as people think Kansas is just kind of this desolation place
No,
where
it's
not a lot.
not.
It's not. There's windmills everywhere, and they're providing energy, and it's fascinating because they're all over the landscape. It almost looks like I'm driving up on the set of Empire Strikes Back. There's just massive windmills, but it's that idea that if we harness what's happening naturally on this planet,
Yes,
we can
yes,
save ourselves.
yes. We need a new look. Let's face it, the paradigm, the model is broke. This military industrial complex is not working.
Yeah.
We're not getting better. Society is not advancing. It's not working. Okay, for economic reasons, for the reasons of health, for reasons of ecological concern, it's not working. So we need a new way, a new system. And only those who are making money are riveted with power in the old system to say no to this new system. So we have to prove to the world the merit of free energy, clean energy from the stars, energy that's super abundant, energy that has no side effect, no negative consequence.
So, what company out there do you admire that's doing it right?
Scalar energy,
Yeah.
there are none.
Okay.
And
So,
why? It's suppressed. Let's just be blunt. It's suppressed. You have to go about this with independent research. I'm an independent researcher. To be clear, no entity, no government, business, university, think tank, charity, no entity, no organized group has ever approached me to work. Never, never.
Wow. So let me ask you this. If you had a dream tonight, you ran into the 18-year-old version of you, you could give that young version of you a piece of advice based on the wisdom you've gained in your life. What advice would you give that young version, and would that young version listen?
Yeah, yes, because I always listen to reason, to what is logical. And the reason that I would listen to is this, that we have to look at a new way of living. And that if you're going to be that new way of living, believe in God, believe in yourself. And I've never doubted God. I've never doubted myself. That's why I've made such progress. You'll see naysayers along the way. Just ignore them. Just move on.
Yeah. So let's say we get off this call, time machine pulls up. You can go anywhere in time. You can go back in time and see one event in human history, or you can go into the future. Where are you going to go?
Yeah, I'd like to see the future of mankind. I'd like to see where we're at in 5 years, 10 years. Okay, the past I already know. As long as history does not provide, so I can read history book. I'd like to see where we're at in the next 5 to 10 years.
So, Tom, everyone has a perception of you, family, friends, clients, everyone that knows you, but you run the show. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
I think I'm a pretty easygoing guy. I think I'm rather logical. I have to be if I'm going to engineer instruments. And but at heart, I'm a Christian, and I want to see the world in a better place. I see too many problems in the world, problems that should have been solved a long time ago.
I totally agree. There's levels of starting over or refining. I think we make it too complex. I think it's much simpler.
It really is, Joe. I keep looking at the world scene, saying, with all this technology, why haven't we improved the lifestyle of people around the world?
Yeah.
People are not happy. As we record this in 2024, I speak to many people. They're discontent. They're not happy. Why? Well, what's the problem? We have technology. I thought technology was going to solve these problems. That's not the case.
And that's the irony of it, is that we've gotten to a point where we're extending our lifespan, but the happiness has not been
It's
caught up. It's weird, very weird.
That's a shame.
It's very strange. So, Tom, if anyone wants to see the good work you're doing, reach out. Any of the good business, where can they go?
My website is scalarlight.com. Now, if you go to that website, you and your family are entitled to 15 days of free session. Remember, I work with a person by way of a photograph. People email me their photograph. If you're game, so to speak, email your photograph. You can send your family and pets. I will work with you for 15 days, which will be able to detect and negate microbes, toxins. We'll be able to download the energy of vitamins into you. It's a 15-day free session. There's no questions asked. There's no obligation. This is how I introduce this new science, by way of experience. I want you to experience the Scalar Light sessions.
And I have that link. Thank you for sending it. I'm going to put it in the show notes. Tom, this is fascinating. I'm so glad there's cats like you out here that are staying true to your conviction. You're doing the good work. You're going to save the planet. You are doing a lot of good. But I think as the future gets illuminated more, we're going to understand that things that are more conscionable over capitalism is going to work, and it's going to help us.
And it has to.
Yeah.
The dog eat dog. The law of the jungle does not work for mankind.
It's failed. It's failed over and over again.
Yes, of course it has. Thank you.
So, thank you, sir. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your story. Keep doing the great work.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Take care.